Hey guys, Logan Insco here. Welcome back to my channel. And you all know how I'm an Elvis fan. I've been working on that Elvis Presley project that's going to be, hopefully I get done really soon. But you know how last year they made a biopic all about Elvis, like the one from 1979. But we're not really counting that. We're here to talk about Baz Luhrmann's biopic adaptation of Elvis. Comment down below, who do you think played a better Elvis, Austin Butler or the guy that played Elvis in the recent Priscilla biopic? Although, a spoiler alert is most definitely in order. In this video, we are going to discuss everything that the film Elvis got right and some that got wrong. You see, first, was Elvis a comic book fan? Well, the answer is yes, he was a comic book fan. Elvis once said in a speech that when he was younger, he read comic books about his favorite superhero, Captain Marvel Jr., Freddie Freeman, who's now nowadays for the Shazam family. But back then, he was known as Captain Marvel Jr. So, sometimes the names could get confusing, right? So, yeah. But in the movie, he wears a lightning bulb on his chest, although he never actually wore a lightning bulb on his chest, although he did get the hairstyle for Captain Marvel Jr. And another fact that they mentioned in the movie is that Colonel Tom Parker took much of what Elvis earned, which was right. Colonel took most of what Elvis earned, although my dad disagrees, and he says they got their share, but I heard that Colonel took Elvis' share of $7 million and $8 million. And that Colonel was an illegal alien that changed his name, which was right. His birth name was not Tom Parker. His birth name was Andreas Cornelis Van Koch, although he enlisted in the army as Tom Parker, and then he gave himself the colonel rank while working over a governor campaign. And now he then tells Elvis in the movie why he doesn't want him doing a world tour. But he says that they can do an American tour. 15 cities in 17 days. So, I don't know. Oh, and another fact is, you know how when Elvis performs the song Hound Dog on the Steve Allen show, they bring an actual hound, which was actually right. Elvis did sing Hound Dog from a hound. If you go back and watch the Steve Allen show back in the day, you see Elvis sings Hound Dog to an actual hound wearing an Abraham Lincoln top hat. Although, in real life, Steve Allen actually was the one that created this new style of Elvis, because at the time, he wasn't a fan of rock and roll. Just like in the movie, when Parker made this new style of Elvis to keep the authorities off his back, in real life, Elvis was actually not a fan of the idea. And so those are the things that the biopic got right. Now let's get to some facts that the biopic got wrong. One of the first facts was that how the 68 comeback special went down. Although Elvis did make his comeback in 1968, at the time, like around December, Robert F. Kennedy, who I guess is related to John F. Kennedy, wasn't shot at that time. Although when he heard the news about Martin Luther King Jr.'s shooting, he was mad that he had to sing in front of a virtual audience. I don't know if that fact is true, but yeah, he was inspired by Martin Luther King and Robert F. Kennedy's shooting, which I don't blame him. I don't blame Elvis. Like, an inspiration that taught so much. No wonder you want to sing in front of a goddamn virtual audience. Like, who does that? A fact that is probably the most notable fact in the movie is the fact that Elvis fired Colonel on stage. And did Elvis fire Colonel on stage? The answer is no. Elvis did not fire Colonel Parker on stage because although all of the bad stuff in the movie, after all the bad stuff Colonel does to Elvis, he fires him in front of the audience. Although there is some facts in there for considering. I heard in real life during a show, Elvis attacked somebody from the stage, and then later on, Colonel and Elvis had an argument backstage, and then, although he wanted to fire him, but he knew that would lose all his money, so him and his father had no choice but to take Parker back, although Elvis really did not want to. And another fact is that like I said about Captain Marvel Jr., he did not wear a lightning bolt over his chest. I mean, like, you could notice the hair, right? But he didn't wear a lightning bulb on his chest. Now let's get to the Priscilla movie facts. Now when I went to see Priscilla, I wasn't really interested because I hated the fact that the guy that played Elvis was so tall. Like, in real life, I don't think Elvis was actually really that tall. Like, they should have casted Austin Butler again. I mean, that's what I would do. What were you doing? What was the director thinking? So the fact is, that, Elvis had anger issues, and he actually threw a chair at Priscilla in the movie, and that fact is right. Elvis did actually have some severe anger issues throughout the movie and in real life. And in one scene, Elvis throws a chair. Luckily, Priscilla dodges, although part of the chair hits Priscilla in the face. Later on, Elvis feels so ashamed. So that's a fact. Another fact is that Priscilla's age when she met Elvis. Although in the Baz Luhrmann adaptation of Elvis, they're like around the same age. Like, although they're actually 10 years apart in age. So Elvis met his future wife Priscilla Beaulieu while he was in the army, and he met him in Germany. And Elvis was 24. And Priscilla was only 14. And although another fact is the name of the guy who tells Priscilla, are you a fan of Elvis Presley? And she's like, of course, who isn't? Although the guy's name isn't right. Although I don't know the real guy's name, and I can't really remember the name they used in the movie, but I'm going to have to rewatch it. I don't know, maybe I'll watch it some other time, but not today. Because I'm thinking about on Saturday, I'm going with my brother, my dad, and my uncle to see the Iron Claw. So if you're a wrestling fan, I'm sure I guarantee you want to see that movie. It's been a while, actually, since I've seen my uncle. So, yeah, maybe I'll do a review on that movie to see how it was. But right now, we're talking about Priscilla. Yeah, and speaking of, around the time, Priscilla's parents didn't really want her hang with Elvis, although they did stay in touch and they spent a lot of time together. And a fact that they got wrong from the movie was that Priscilla did not go with Elvis on the tours. And was that right true that Priscilla didn't go on tours with Elvis? The answer is no. She actually did go on tour with Elvis. Although she did become close friends with Elvis's friends, like Sonny West and like stuff like that. So yeah, that's my whole list of things that Elvis and Priscilla's biopics got right and wrong. And if you haven't, a few rules: do a lot of Elvis research, and if you don't want to, go see Elvis Presley's biopic. Yeah, I think you should see that movie. It's honestly fantastic and really realistic to his life, although there are a few situations. So see you guys later. If you want to hear more facts about my book, the next video I might make is my review on the Iron Claw. Subscribe for more. Logan out.